Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about a scope that spent more time in the box than it did on my rifle. Alright, so as you would see in the title, we're going to talk about the Vortex Strike Eagle 1:8 by 24 second focal plane MOA AR BDC 3 scope. What a fucking mouthful. I really wanted this scope to be awesome, and it is awesome, but there's just something about it that I can't get past, which we'll get into a little bit later. Let's talk about its good points. Build quality, obviously it's Vortex, very well done. The scope adjustment on it, in fact I'll get it out of the box so we can have a play around with it while I talk about it. It will jog my memory. Obviously the box is quite nice, but who really gives a shit about that? The adjustment's nice. It does really need the throw lever to make it obviously nice and quick. We'll get into the throw lever in a little tick as one of its not so great points. The illumination in it is absolutely fantastic. It's not exactly daylight bright like they say. I found that middle of the day turned on, I still couldn't really see the illumination in it, but in lower light it is quite nice. And the fact that it illuminates the full like upside down horseshoe part and the center dot is also quite nice. The fact that it is a 1 power through to 8 power is excellent. If you are after a low power variable optic, then you know it's one of the only ones, especially in the price range, that you're going to be able to get a 1 to all the way up to 8. Usually you're going to see about 1 to 4, 1 to 6, particularly in that price range. And that's about where what I like about it ends. Things I didn't like about it, like cosmetically, let's talk about the real shitty ones first. I really don't like these lens caps at all, and when I was using it on my rifle, I didn't have them on, just personal preference. The low power on 1 I found to be really finicky. It gave me vignetting on the edges. Vignetting is like blurring, slash like getting darker. When you set these up, you're supposed to dial in the diopter ring at 1 power to make it a true 1 power. Otherwise it gets a little bit weird when you've got both eyes open. But I found that once I zoomed into 8, for my eyes, everything was completely out of focus and I'd have to change the diopter. If I changed the diopter for things being in focus at 8 power, when I went back to 1, everything was warped, weird, looked fucked up with both eyes open. So that I really, really didn't like about the scope. Let's talk about the throw lever. It sits, so let's say it's on 8 power, it's on this side here. Okay, I'm right-handed, use a bolt action rifle. Anything above a 60-degree bolt lift, it would snag on that throw lever, so I had to take it off. Now, not a drama on some rifles like the Mauser M18, because you have such a shallow bolt lift. It wasn't a drama, but anything that's 2 lug essentially, so a ticker, Remington 783s, Remington 700s, Ruger M77s, Ruger Hawkeyes, pretty much everything else that has a 70 or 90 degree bolt lift, you wouldn't be able to use your throw lever on. So that was just a bit of a sticking point for me. The reticle I find is a little bit busy. It is set up for like AR, hence the name of the reticle in it, which is an AR BDC. It's set up for that combat shooting, 3-gun, bloody, gotta protect my family, America, bloody bullshit style of shooting. It does have a cool feature where you can range targets, but it's built off an IPSC target, which is like a human waist to head. Targets are pretty useless for hunting because I don't live in America, I'm not hunting humans. And some other things about it were a little bit busy, particularly the drop compensating in the VDC. It did, however, line up fairly well. So it tells you in the manual it's for 5.56 or 2 to 3 at blah weight, like 50 grain or 55 grain, something like that, and then 150 grain for 308. I did find that it was fairly close for the 165s that I was shooting, so I could actually use those, the BDC, sort of. My main gripe with this sight, and it goes for pretty much everything Vortex, is the fucking weight of it. It's ridiculous. This scope weighs ½ kilo. That's just the scope. That's not including your rings. And the way I look at it, if I'm putting a low power variable on a weapon, I want to save weight. Otherwise, I would just go for like a 3 to 9. So for any of my hunting rifles that I'm trying to cut the weight down, and I do have low power variables on a few of them, one of them being my rifled barrel on my shotgun, my 358 Winchester. They've got low power variables because I want them to be nice and light. Now, if I'm putting something on that's half a kilo, I may as well just go and buy a 3 to 9. In fact, this is significantly heavier than a Leupold 3 to 9. Whether it be the VX Freedom or an old VX1, they're roughly around 320 something grams, and this is obviously 500 grams. I'll put this into a comparison. This is only 58 grams lighter than a Leupold 3 to 15 VX5 HD. I'll say that again. It's only 58 grams lighter than a 3 to 15 scope. Same tube size, so they're both 30mm tubes. This doesn't have a bell housing on it for the objective lens. The objective lens on that is 44, I believe, off the top of my head, around the 40 mark. And this is 24. I find that a bit ridiculous, and I can't let that go. Being lightweight is kind of a thing, so that's just me being autistic. A hell of a lot heavier for not much gain. What you're getting is mainly in the low end. And in fact, I found the low end so bad on this because I wanted the high power to be more in focus, because I'd be fucking shooting at things a fair way away, that I didn't even roll it on the lowest power. I had it sitting on usually 2 or 3, which defeats the purpose of having a low power variable. And every time I've gone to put this on a rifle, I've taken it straight back off because it doesn't really suit the needs of what I'm after. Either I want something where I can have one power, which then I end up putting a red dot on, or a different low power variable because they're lighter, or I want something with the more magnification up at the top end, like near 8, and I end up using a 3 to 9 anyway. So I just found that I wasn't actually using this. I've owned this for, it'd be nearly on 2 years, and I think I've had it fitted to a rifle for maybe a couple of months of that, because it just keeps on getting pulled off and replaced with other things. So it didn't suit my needs. It may suit your needs, but yeah, I just couldn't get over. I could deal with all the other things, like the low power being a bit weird and having to change the diopter ring in between magnification settings. I can get over that. I couldn't get over the fact that this weighs almost the exact same as a 3 to 15 scope. It is a really good scope. You may have a good use for it. It may be perfect for you. It definitely wasn't perfect for me, so I'm giving you my little tidbit of information, my 5 cents, the hot tip from the top pocket. Give you some hot chips. I didn't like it, hence why I didn't use it, and hence why I am moving it on and never buying it again. So, hope you got something out of that. I'll catch you next video, and hooroo.